Hey folks, Quill18 here and welcome to Let's Play some Surviving Mars Relaunched. Listen, hey Mimont and Paradox, what are you doing to me? I sank hundreds of hours into the OG Surviving Mars, and I thought I'd finally gotten cleaned. I put it aside for a while so I could move on with my life and do other things. How dare you release this remastered, cleaned up, and expanded version of one of my favorite sci-fi city builders out there, Surviving Mars. Indeed, that's what it is. This relaunch version has all the previous expansion content rolled up together into this new base game, and they have a whole new kind of expansion worth of features added in with a new Martian assembly system with elections and voting, and a new endgame with the quest for Martian independence. In many ways, this will, of course, play very similar to the OG Surviving Mars, but I will still do a little bit of an intro as we get in, on the basis that maybe you hadn't played it. This wonderful, wonderful, horrible game that eats all my free time. Thank you very much to Paradox for sponsoring this video, by the way. You can check a link down in the description box down below for when you can pick up Surviving Mars and lose your life to this just this glorious city builder or colony builder. You can sort of go interchangeably between the two terms, in my opinion. Anyway, let's go ahead and start a new game, and we can start to look at some of the differences and yeah, lose all of our free time again. So we pick a mission sponsor to start off with that have various perks and difficulties. I quite like going Europe. I meant to mouse over here because right at the bottom you can see you get funding every time a tech is researched and double if it's breakthrough. Researching is so satisfying that why don't we just go ahead and make it even more betterer. So we're going to take Europe over there for our mission, for our commander profile. These will also have a variety of different perks or tweaks to the gameplay. I think I'll go ahead and leave the default rocket scientist on this one because I really quite enjoy starting with the CO2 jet propulsion tech. Shuttle hubs are amazing, and we won't be building them instantly, but it's going to be good to have access to them relatively early. I really enjoy that. Then there's the mystery over here, which is, I mean, it's not... The game doesn't end when you resolve the mystery, unless something has changed, but it is sort of your, like, sort of the quest that gets unlocked partway through the game that tweaks, that gives you some goals and some directions. I'll leave it on random, that's going to be okay. And then we choose our founding faction over here. You can see these don't actually have any bonuses or anything like that innately in there, but they do come into play with the new Martian assembly system. Let's go Prosperity for Mars. That sounds okay. We can choose our rivals as before, but we're not going to. We can tweak the game rules as well. This is really nice. If there's anything that you don't particularly care for, like, you know, let's say you didn't want to bother with asteroids or underground, you can go ahead and flick that on if you would like. Some of these disable achievements and some do not, which is kind of neat. So you can see here, easy maintenance would disable achievements, for example, because it does make life a lot easier for you. Some of these things like fast scanning doesn't, and scanning sectors just like is very nice when it just happens faster. So you've got some options over here to tweak the gameplay. Some of these make it harder, some of these make it easier. You can see the challenge percentage over here, which affects your score. That's basically all it does, which, I mean, does the score matter to you? It depends. For some people, it's very important. And it's also a hint as to how difficult of a game you're going through. So sometimes you're like, I want a good challenge. Let's boost this up to like 500%. Our colony name, Petra 2.0, I think. And the thing that makes this game one of the greatest games ever made is that we can, of course, choose Brussels sprouts as our mission logo. All right, let's go ahead and hit next. Chicka, chicka, chicka. Our very first shuttle over here, we're going to choose the material in it. This is automatically filled. Your first shuttle is automatically filled to its maximum weight, or money if you've got money as a limiting factor, in a way that's meant to be, it's tuned for your faction depending on your shuttle's capacity as well as what you might need. So we're going to get prefabs for a fuel refinery, a moisture evaporator, and a Stirling generator early on. That's good. And a smattering of other parts. Seems great. I'm not going to rename the rocket. That's going to be fine. And we're going to choose our landing spot. There are a few like sort of predefined areas that might be interesting, and of course you can just, I mean, you can click anywhere and you can hit random as well. Oh, this actually seems like a pretty easy place. A little lighter on like metals and concrete, lots of water, which is nice, and relatively low disasters. In particular, I'm not a huge fan of cold waves. That's the one that I think I find the most sort of frustrating to the way I like to play. Now, you might want to go and settle somewhere that's higher up. The higher up you are, the better wind turbines work. And also this rough topography might limit our building space, but I think that's going to be fine. Let's go ahead and jump in. Now, I have been playing a little bit of the remastered edition over here. And already, some of the differences between the OG version and the remastered version, I'm like, oh, what is it again?
To Mars.
For example, and let me make sure we've paused over here. I believe the date and the time controls used to be in the bottom left, but I might be wrong. I think there's more things listed at the top. There's a revamp to the construction screen over here. More things are now grouped and subgrouped. What's another good example of that? Sort of over here, for example, your farms will all be stacked into one category. I don't believe that was the case in the original game, which makes it easier for them to put more things in all together. And we can see we've got some political categories over here as well, and we'll be looking at some other functions and features as we go. So this is the map. This is the area we're going to be building in. You always have one area revealed to start off with, and it is guaranteed to have some concrete, which is important because you do need to build that. Now, what I would really like to do is uncover a district that's got some water right away. I do have 2 probes for some instant scanning, and I probably want to go and do that. Now, one of the tips I can give you when you are starting this game is there are a series of milestones, and when you accomplish certain things, you will get some free science. So for example, finding water on Mars is worth 250 science. Now, if you haven't assigned any research, this is just a little pro tip. If you haven't assigned any research, that research automatically gets applied to the very first thing in the leftmost column over here. You can see I have a little bit of passive research to my sponsor, and because the game ticked for a second before I paused it, we've got a little bit of progress towards over here. One of the first, and this is such a minor little change, but to me is indicative of the polish that's gone into the remaster. It used to be the terraforming category, assuming you had the expansion that added, used to be on the left, which meant this little passive research or from finding water would go into something in terraforming. And to me, terraforming is something you do a little bit later, once you're sort of into the mid game. I might be wrong about that, but that's how I play. And the fact that this has just been reordered like this, I think is swell. Because the engineering tech, for example, it's much more likely to have something more immediately useful. I don't know that I need decommissioning protocols immediately. Rockets and shuttles requiring less fuel is beautiful. You can see if I scroll down robotics, I already have the CO2 jet propulsion technology here. Explorer AI is something I really do like to focus on early on because it's more free science. Let's go ahead and put that in, and maybe we'll go and queue a second thing in here. I will want a farm for our first colony. Do I want to research it that quickly? I think maybe. And you know what? Actually, what I'll do is I'll do autonomous sensors, and then I'll do soil adaptation. So we'll get those queued in. So they take 1,000 research each, and we can see I'm currently getting 400 research per soul. And then, yeah, what I want to do is I want to do some orbital scans, and there's a high chance of water here. And we found it, which is a milestone complete and some free science. Lovely. And then maybe I'll pop that just for some extra vision. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to queue up scanning of some sectors in an area around my starting area. Some of these are more or less buildable, but that's going to be okay. Now, let's go and land our very first shuttle. We have a vista over here. If we build a colonist dome near this vista, they'll get extra comfort, which is good. It keeps your colonists happy, but also to get Martian-borns, you need a minimum comfort level in your dome. So comfort boosting things are really good for getting those first Martian-born. And these are all concrete deposits. And yeah, we do have an underground water over there. This is a lovely starting area. I think I might dump my ship maybe somewhere over here. The radius here, that little inner hex that is highlighted, I believe that's the dust area that's going to be kicked off as this thing lands and takes off. So in theory, you wouldn't want that too close to a building, but it's not a huge deal. The outer one is the control of drones this thing has. So I'd like to have it really centered up to be able to work a big area, but I'm a little bit worried that we might get in our own way if I put it over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to land my ship right over there. I will be interchangeable with shuttle versus rocket versus ship, which are actually not the same thing in this game, but I rarely keep those things straight. So I'm going to go and fast forward here because I do want to go and advance a little bit more into the game. So our shuttle has just unloaded. We've got a few things in here. With our start, we started with an RC Seeker. This is a unique variant of a drone controller because it does carry drones within it and can expand your work area, which is great. But it also works as a sensor tower, which increases sensor speed. I'm going to go and move it just a little further up over here. Next, we do have an RC Explorer. And these things, they're not for exploring the map. They're for exploring various anomalies you might find. We don't have one right now. I'm just going to go and move it slightly out of the way. And then the next thing that comes out of here are our drones. So drones are little machines that do all your work on the surface. These graphics, I'm pretty sure, are more high res than they used to be. with a lot of extra detail that's in there. Okay, so what about our construction? The very first thing we need to do is get concrete working, because that's what we use as the basis for our construction. You can access the building menu by clicking here, but I tend to just do it with a right click. We're gonna go to the production side, and we've got a concrete extractor. So with the concrete extractor, you can see its work areas, those highlighted tiles, and you have to have those over a concrete deposit of some description. So I'm gonna go there. As far as I recall, you don't actually have to worry about covering the whole thing, as long as your interaction with the deposit anyway, as long as it becomes a valid work spot, you are going to mine it all out. Although I suppose for looks, something like that would look kind of good. So you can see it was complaining that doesn't have a cable connection. If we go and look at power, we've got cable over there, but you can see here it's also got a shortcut on C. The game has a lot of options for your key bindings. You can reference these if you want to learn some key bindings, or of course change them. C and V I use extensively for my building over here. So you won't actually see me select power cables. Instead, what's always going to happen is I'm just going to hit the C key, and then I'm just going to drag some cable out over here. Now, to build, the cables need metal, and the concrete extractor needs metal and machine parts. In our shuttle, we did arrive with some polymers, electronics, and machine parts, and over on the surface, we can find little metal deposits like this one over here. Now, for construction, if I go on and pause, these drones, assuming they're within range, and actually, let me go and bring this guy back over here, because he's got some drones. These drones will go and pick up the metal deposits, and we'll go and bring them to the construction site. But the other thing we probably want to do is get some storage down here. So I'm going to get some universal storages, so they fit a little bit of everything. We're going to do that, and what's going to happen, our drones will go
Heavy
and...
drone workload.
Heavy drone workload, it's fine. They're going to go and unload the various resources from our ship, and then go and drop them off over there, which is just handy. And especially at some point, the ship is going to want to take off. Now, when this gets built, it's also going to need power. So if we go back to the power tab, we've got a few different ways to generate power. We did start with one Stirling generator prefab, because we're not actually the blueprint to build these on our own, but we can go and put this down. And this is great because it constantly provides power. And all we have to do is unbox it. So it builds very quickly. It doesn't use any extra material. This is plugged into the power here, but there's nothing draining the power, so this doesn't feel like a complete grid, which is why we're going to complain. We are going to use solar panels and maybe wind turbines as well, but for now, the Stirling generator is going to do all the work we need it to do. Yeah, we're excited to have this get picked up. I think I will go and build an extra sensor tower in this area here, and this will increase the rate of scanning. It will... Ooh, there we go, we found an anomaly. You do get a boost to scanning for every one of the sensor towers you've got, but in particular, if sensor tower is close to the area we'd like to scan, then it's going to go faster. We found an anomaly, so I'm going to go and send my RC Explorer out to scan that. We will be unlocking a technology that will allow us to automate the RC Explorers and the transport, the RC transports as well, once we get one, and those will be really nice. So waiting for the concrete extractor to get built. It's almost going to get started. What I'm going to do is get some extra storages over here. So in my depots, or depots as I like to say, I'm going to go and put down a couple of concrete depots, and also we produce random waste rock from a lot of mining operations. So I'm going to put down a couple of storage spots for that, because this is going to accumulate waste rock on one of its little storage pads over here, and we're going to want that to be cleared out. I think the game sounds might be a little loud. My apologies for that. We're just looking at the audio meter. Let me bring that down a fair bunch so I don't have to yell quite as much. All right. So the scanner is up, we got the power. We can open the Stirling generator for even more power as well, though it's a little bit sensitive to dust at that point. So I'm going to wait until I strictly need it. I'm going to expand our power cable this way. And then what else? Well, the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make sure that this shuttle can leave and come back. Ooh, what is this? Martian Trail. Earth HQ is to approve new project to expand our Martian operations. The endless stream of scientific data flowing from the Red Planet is too much to be handled even by the largest scientific organization alone. The top brass of our sponsor have just made the decision to sell the scientific data to third parties by setting up a remote transmission facilities on Mars. In fact, you have discovered a special project, Contract Exploration Access. It can be completed multiple times to gain funding.
Special project available.
Oh, well, that's swell. And yeah, that is probably one of these special projects over here, indeed. We're going to be looking at the planetary view a little bit more in a bit. But yeah, I think, honestly, I think this is probably going to turn into a Let's Play, because I can't not let's play Surviving Mars, and I'm really eager for us to explore the new political system. So you can see here, our first session is going to open soon, so we're going to wait until that happens, and then we're going to interact with that. So let's get back to some of the basics. We need to make sure to be able to refuel this, so we'll build a fuel refinery. We have a prefab for that, and this does need some water to operate. So we're going to go and get some water generation up next. One of the ways we're going to do that is by building these water pipes, but then we need something that collects water. So that's under life support here. We can go and access this underground water using a water extractor, but that will eventually run out. There's only 13,000 units of water here. It's also very low grade, so it'll mine very slowly. But a moisture evaporator will constantly absorb water from the Martian atmosphere. There's not much in it to start off with, but it'll do. You can see we got a warning that there won't be enough power. We're going to go ahead and just open up the Stirling generator, which will give us more. But there you go. So this is going to generate water. I suppose what we're going to want to do is store that in a water tower just to make sure it accumulates. And then the fuel refinery will consume some of the water to produce fuel. It's complaining about lack of water, but there we go. So we can take a look at our water production up top here. We're producing 1 water and consuming 1 water, and that is it right now, but that's going to be okay. Some research has been completed. That's great. So we have completed the Explore AI, so we get even more passive science, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And then every time you unlock a technology in one of, I was going to say tree, but in one of these categories, it reveals another one. So it has a revealed drone swarms, which is good. It was when we build drone hubs, they come with additional drones. It's nice to prioritize this as quickly as possible. We don't actually have the ability to build drone hubs ourselves. This will be in the robotics category. And that is one of the very important categories to research early. So we'll go and put that in and get it going. I don't know if we have a prefab for a drone hub. We do not. We could order one back home though, so we may indeed do that. Still collecting these rocks just fine. Any other anomalies that we have spotted? Not yet. Okay. I think we're gonna get started on our dome construction. It's a little early, but we've got a great spot for it, so I think that's gonna be okay. Actually, before I do, just to make sure I don't accidentally get in my own way, I'm gonna go and plan to build the water extractor over here. Now, what's interesting about the water extractor for the mining, it actually only runs as needed, which is kind of nice. So if, all of our demands are met and if our water tower is full, then we simply won't extract more water than we need to maintain that, which is great. So building it early isn't going to cause anything to be wasted here because we're only going to use it as is. So we're being complained that our drones are being overworked, which I mean, is a fair complaint, but we can't really do anything about that right now. I'm going to bring the RC Explorer back home over here. Sometimes they can get hit by a meteor and get damaged or something. So it's nice when they're near here because then they can get repaired right away. So we'll get that up. We still had a metal deposit here that'll eventually get cleaned up. And then we're going to put a dome probably right in this area, probably as soon as that's done. How much money do I have? I think, and I know I've got another rocket. In fact, I've got, right, you normally start with 2, but I started with 1 extra one because of my choice of sponsors. So I'm going to do another cargo rocket. I am going to send 1 drone hub. I could do another, like, parts factory or something, but I don't know if that's what I want to do. I think what I'll likely do is bring some of these basic or some of these more advanced materials that I can't produce on Mars myself right now. And we're going to get a good stockpile of this stuff. So we'll do that. I could get another Stirling generator. I don't think that's necessary. I might bring a few extra drones with me because that's quite convenient. They're relatively cheap. They're a good thing to fill in. I could, or I could bring some extra food. You know what? Maybe we'll just bring that. Food's a little heavier, but there you go. We'll do that in 1 drone. When you get your passenger rocket, they do come with some food as well, but a little bit more of a buffer is not a bad thing. So yeah, I'm really hoping we clear this rock because let's look at the domes.
Drone workload.
Now, as you go through the game, what you're going to be doing is building more of these round domes, and there's going to be more that we unlock through technology, but a lot of them will look like this. And these domes do allow a spire in them. So spire is a class of buildings. We can see dome spires over here. We can't see all of them because we need to unlock a bunch through technology. But these sit sort of in the middle of the dome. They occupy their own unique slot. They don't compete with any other buildings. And they can do a lot of really powerful things. But I don't tend to feel that they're super important, like, immediately. The very first dome I like to build is actually the barrel dome over here. You can see it's an alternate small dome. It doesn't have a spire. You can't build a spire on this, but it has slightly more internal space than the basic dome. The self-sufficient dome, by the way, is not a special dome. It's just a blueprint that includes multiple constructions as part of it. Dome itself, plus a water tower, plus a moxie for oxygen, and so on. So the self-sufficient dome is a convenience factor. It is not its own unique dome. And you've also got the micro dome over here. But yeah, I love starting with the barrel dome, but I need to wait for these metals to be collected here, which mostly just means we need a little bit of free time from our bots.
Session open.
Okay, the Earth Council is ready to convene for the first time. It's made up of the founding faction and most important sponsors that will govern the future of Mars. So you can see the initial council member seats are Prosperity for Mars, 10 seats, Europe, 4 seats, the Church of New York, 2 seats, China, 2 seats, USA, 2 seats. Take me there. All right. So we can see how all these people feel about us or in general, which is good. And then we're going to go ahead and open well, there's a couple of different options. We can open the floor, and this will show us what these factions want, right? Prepare for the exploration policy, additional rewards for exploring sectors, etc., etc. We can actually look at the laws themselves as well. So there's a few different categories of laws. Some we can start voting for immediately. So for example, we can choose a variant on the milestones reward here. So the milestone is like finding water, right? Which was giving us 250 science. We could also get it so that when we complete a milestone, we get extra applicants on Earth ready to come. Increase the export price of rare metals, which is kind of nice as a long-term thing. Immediate extra funding or immediate extra research. Tech is really good. Increasing the export price is also nice. We can see who likes and doesn't like things as well. And the voting probability, which we can tweak. Extra exports, it looks like we're going to have a lot of support for that as is. We can also negotiate and convince a faction. Like we can make a promise to a faction to get them to vote for this. In this case, it doesn't look like we're going to need to do that. So we were going to initiate the vote. There you go, 86% in favor. So, and we get reasons why they did various things as well. So a couple of them abstained, but yeah, we got an easy pass on the extra exports, which is great. And then those will keep getting voted from time to time. Oh, I found the access to the underground somewhere, and we might get down there at some point.
A building has stopped working.
Building has stopped working. Not enough power. Indeed, that is true. So we are definitely, yeah, you can see, well, we can see up here as well, right? We're producing 20 power. We demand 22 right now with that up. So we're gonna have to go and set up some more power. I really quite like solar panels. I tend to just build the large ones, and they have to be touching the power, but otherwise they can kind of be anywhere. Let's say I'm gonna build a set of 3 over here, and solar power doesn't work at night. Spoiler alert. So we're gonna need some batteries. So I'm gonna go and get maybe a couple of these batteries set up over there. Excellent. There we go. This last chunk of metal is doing... You know what I meant to do? I meant to grab an RC transport with this cargo rocket as well. Well, we'll get it on the next go. Or did I ask? I asked for a drone hub. But yeah, an RC transport is like one of these things, but you can manually go and collect random bits and bobs that are on the surface. So you can find metal. You can also sometimes find polymers on the surface. Oh, there's the underground entrance. Ahaha. How's the refueling going on here? At 9 of 50. And did I queue up the we need less fuel for things? I didn't. I might want to get these. You know what? I might want this to happen first, because I think it'll only take 30 fuel instead of 50. And that'd be nice. There you go. Solar panels are up. Power accumulators are here, so they're going to charge up some power at night. Now, because we don't have any colonists net, it's not going to be the end of the world if we run out of power at some point. We're not going to, people aren't going to die from like oxygen or water or freeze to death. We want to make sure that wherever we put this, it's going to encompass the, oh, there it is, the vista for the extra comfort. And if we did have any metals or anything over here, we might want to set up it in such a way that we can go and mine those. But in this case, we're going to be fine. Yeah, I think I was in my head that one of these was the vista, but we do want to build over here, which does have some rocks, which is a bit annoying, but we'll go and... Yeah, we'll just put it here. That's fine. Ooh, we're going to get dust from that if we do that. I mean, no matter what, we're going to have slight trickiness. Okay, let's go with this. And then we're going to connect up here and there for the water and the power as well. Now, we're going to need oxygen. So we got to go back to life support, and we get a Moxie over here. So let's go and just... We'll put one down over there. We're also going to get... I'm going to go... we're going to go with a couple of oxygen tanks, and they could be anywhere on the network. They get piped. And I'm going to get an extra water tower as well. We know we already have one water tower, but I really like to have another one, and I usually tend to put a battery near my domes as well. First of all, I want more storage capacity as our little city, as our colony grows, but also in case there's like an asteroid that like
Heavy drone workload.
cuts our connection over here, I want to make sure it's got like the local storage right nearby to reduce the chance that it gets cut off from our grid. Must be connected to a water consumer. Are you? Oh, you are not. My bad. Get that over there. Silly me. And we've got another rocket ready to land. You can build low launch or landing pads, which have advantages for various reasons. And in fact, before I sent colonists over here, I think I am going to want a landing pad that's right by the dome. We could fit one in here if we move some rocks. I think I'll just go. Ooh, I'm going to want to run some power. Maybe I will clean this up. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a dumping site. Oh, the water mine also goes and produces some of this debris. So it's going to be good to have that. Cute. Move down here so you do cover this area. And then if we go into the landscaping, we can get the flatten command over here, which is probably what I want. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, I can't click where there's something. And actually, let's go and shrink the size a little bit with R. Let's get nice and small in here. And then just hold shift and sort of paint a little bit of an area to go and clear plus flatten. I'm going to just do this much. I won't do the whole ravine. And I'm going to set the priority of this to really low. I want drones to do their regular jobs first, and only if they're idle will they go and start working on flattening and clearing this, which is going to be nice. Oh, we found a new anomaly. So yeah, let's send out our RC Explorer over here. Ooh, this is going to give us some science, which is nice. And yeah, we landed another one, which is great. And I do have the drone hub prefab. I might wait until I get the drone swarm technology to plop it. Nah, we'll put the first one because the drone swarm technology makes it so that you do get an extra couple of drones when you build a drone hub. So it would be nice to get an extra couple for free. But I think right now what we really want is more drone capacity altogether. So I'll build it here, which once these shuttles go and things, this will still cover this area, which is going to be really nice. I could even go and transfer some of the drones over here. There's also 2 recharging pads. Your drones do have to recharge from time to time. So this will be a couple places where they can do that. You can build some extra charge stations as well so that more of your drones can charge simultaneously. In fact, I'm often keen because there tends to be a lot of drone activity near the the domes.
Resources.
So I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Heavy drone work.
We don't have a lot of power storage. We're going to have to get more going on. But hey, we got some more tech done, which is nice. Yeah, the sensors don't take any power anymore, which is a nice little bonus. And no maintenance, which is lovely. Okay, let's go and get some power going on. So I'm going to build another solar panel hub. So the wind turbines produce power all the time, but they do require machine parts for maintenance, which is a little bit more painful early on. Also, they scale based on the elevation. And so if we were in a higher area, the turbines would do even more power. We'll probably end up building some for consistent power, but for now, I'm actually going to be perfectly fine just putting down some extra solar panels.
Session open.
And then we're going to get some extra battery storage over here afterwards. Oh, our very first shuttle is ready to launch. It is fully fueled and at 30. Oh, did I finish? I did finish, yes, the extra fuel, which is great. So let's go and take this off immediately, which is another milestone, actually.
Orphan drones. Orphan drones.
Orphan drones, but they should go and immediately reassign themselves
Heavy drone workload.
to one of the other stations. Heavy drone workload is fine. I've got to say, one of the things I'm going to be very excited for after release is for the mods for this game to get transferred over to the remastered one. One of my favorite mods is one that allows the rebalancing of your various drone hubs. Because what you can do is you can take one of your, on your hubs and things like that, you can go and pack up the drones. Same thing happens with the RC Seeker over here. For example, I could go and pack up all the drones that belong to the RC Seeker and then assign all of them to this drone hub, which in that situation isn't going to make much of a difference, but you can absolutely do that. Are you still... Oh, that hasn't been built yet. Am I out of metal? I am out of metal. Okay. So there is some on the surface, but none within range over here. So we're definitely need the RC transport. We're definitely need the RC transport. We can go and start a new election here. We could change what the milestones do. Additional rewards for exploring sectors. So what we're going to do here is we're going to prepare a policy. So we can't vote on exploration immediately, but we can prepare it and then we'll do a vote. And that is a nice one to get early because this will give us extra bonuses when we reveal a sector like this, which we're obviously doing currently. I guess I don't have to wait for that shuttle to come home. I can go and order another one right away. We are pretty low on money, but I do often like a second RC Explorer for some extra passive science, although you do get a little less per. I may have to just save some money though. I'll definitely get a transport. Even though, like, metal is cheap. It is heavy, though, which is annoying. I'm going to send a little bit just to make sure everything's okay. I think that'll be it for the food. But again, a few more of these parts because we can't produce them right away. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and launch that. But yeah, soon we'll be sending some people. But yeah, I'll need the transport to go and pick up these random metal deposits everywhere. Thank you, research complete. I would really like to focus on robotics now, if at all possible, because I actually hoping I can get the automated transport hubs or transport. Both the RC Explorers and the transports can be automated, and it makes your life so much more convenient. I could go and research apartments fairly early. I'm going to go and put this in a queue just to have something after this. I could research apartments very early. They are very space efficient, but they're not quite as comfortable. And if you really want to try to get your first Martian, your Martian firstborn as soon as possible, then it's better to go for high comfort. Sometimes factions with the new, in the remastered version of Surviving Mars, will ask for things. There'll be these opportunities here. Europe, I think, wants me to research systemic training tech. If we do that, they'll like us a little bit more. And you know, that's not a terrible idea if we do get some scientists and botanists. It's not a really high priority tech for me. I might just go ahead and ignore it. I don't know. I love this game so much. It's not even right how much I like this game. I don't like that we don't have medals right now, though. Also, I do miss my mod that increases the speed at the fastest one, because you know how I tend to play my real-time games. I play it at like maximum speed with lots of pausing. I turn everything into a turn-based game is basically what's going on. So that might be another one. I love the modding community for this game is fantastic, and we know that a lot of our favorite games thrive because of the rich modding community that exists. Because there's a lot of things that are not a one-size-fits-all solution, right? That if it was just shipped in the base game, wouldn't necessarily be correct. But mods allow you to tune and customize your experience. The mod manager is all integrated into this game too. Like they made sure that mods were a first-class citizen in Surviving Mars. That's the OG Surviving Mars as well, which is just lovely. And that was right from the start. Like, and actually, I think I got better. Like, modding was something that worked from the start and then became even more encouraged and supported as the game went on, which is exactly what we want to see. And yeah, being short on metals is bizarre at this stage in the game. I guess I'm kind of used to starting with an RC transport now that I realize it, so that we can go and harvest metals from on the surface. In a sense, what I should actually be doing is moving my RC Seeker in the areas, because it works as a sensor tower. I should move it in the areas where I'm scanning, because it will get a boost. Substantially bigger boost from being near a sensor tower. And it'll be very important for us to uncover more stuff as early as possible. Plus, when we explore the map... Oh, there's another vista there. Cool. Maybe... Was this one I already knew about? I'm not sure. Rich metals over here. That's nice. We can make some early money doing this. I don't want to spend too much more here. I would probably like to spend some money on outsourcing, which is something that we now have to unlock through a legal policy. But you can spend money to get a tech boost, and it is really nice. RC Explorer, go and do this, and then Shuttle Ditmar. Oh yeah, I still haven't built the... There, let's do this. I still didn't build this little landing pad because there was some stuff in the way. I'm gonna build it right next to here, so that when we get, when we want to land colonists here, they can go right into the dome, and that's gonna be good. All right, so RC Transport, what you can do is, with it selected, you can go and right-click on a resource like this to gather it up. And then what you can do is you can right-click on a a dumping site or whatever to unload it. But that's the way to do it if you want to micromanage and drive yourself crazy. The much better way to do it, well, first of all, eventually you get a tech where you can automate this. But even without this, you want to use this create transport route. And what this is going to do, you can select an area. So let's say I'm going to click over here. I mean, I don't know if there's anything other than this rock deposit over here. That's kind of all it is. But I'm going to say, we're going to load resource from here, and you can say what you want to load. In this case, I'm going to say all, because there's literally nothing else here. And then you can say where you're going to unload it. So I'm going to say unload it in this area. And this will just go back and forth until it's finished picking up everything. In this case, I think it's just going to make one trip, but it is going to get us some metal, which is great. Of course, we're getting a little bit of metal out of this because we brought some with us, which is heavy and silly, but I think in this case, it was worth it to try to accelerate things. And this just needed concrete, which is okay. And there you go. So this comes over here. I love seeing them work on their own. Very satisfying. And you can see it's loading the metals. Great stuff. And yeah, in the queue, we do have the extra carrying capacity for the transport types, which is nice. I'm not going to say that it's a priority, but it comes early and it's relatively cheap. Okay, RC Explorer is done. We analyze this anomaly.
One of the most well-preserved asteroid impacts in our area. No geologist could ever put a price on it.
Except they did put a price on it, 800 million in funding and 3,000 science. Oh, that's actually insane for a tech boost. So this instantly finished transport optimization, drone swarms. We've revealed low G drive, which makes your drones work faster, which is great. Drone hubs, which lets us build more drone hubs, which is good. And oh, it looks like it dumped the extra science over here. That's interesting. Not in this category. I wonder, hold on. I think I always assumed it was the leftmost column, but maybe it's the cheapest from the left? No, I don't know. Maybe it's choosing it randomly. I don't think I had this queued up. These upgrades are really nice, but I'm not planning on building more wind turbines in the short term. So I think I might just keep focusing on the robotics category for now. Actually. All right, this is nearly going to be done scooping this up. It's going to bring it home. We got a rumor, that the USA is going to finish a breakthrough. And that's annoying because we haven't revealed a breakthrough. We'd find it by scanning an anomaly here, which this one might. The different symbols do different things, and I don't remember what it is. I think this one might just reveal text, but maybe there's a chance that reveals a breakthrough, which would be ideal. Because usually when you hear a rumor, like 5 souls is pretty long time. If we were to unlock a breakthrough, we would definitely have time to unlock it. Let's go and launch this shuttle, please.
Orphan drones.
Orphan drones, right, because they were attached to the shuttle, but they'll go and reallocate themselves somewhere else, because yeah, they're not packed up or anything like that. So they just go and find another hub to connect to when they can. I love the little flattened area here. I like the little mesh pattern that stays behind. I think that's very appealing. Open. Okay, let's take a look at the council session. So we did prepare exploration. I think we're gonna go and do this immediately. So when we scan, we get a little bit of money. I'm gonna do the extra research. So hopefully it'll pass. We could negotiate. Research adaptive probe. Build a dome. Hang on. Is it possible? Yeah, we haven't quite built our dome yet. So presumably that's about to happen. Oop, not here. Here, 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 negotiate. Build a dome. Perfect.
Vote passed.
I may have not have needed it, but that's going to be fine. And yeah, we're very close to, we need 2 more metals in here, and then our drones will start building the dome. That'll complete that promise, which is great. We did find some metals over here. We'll be able to build a mine over there if we do get a dome going on. And bring the RC Explorer home. Oh, and the RC Seeker, I'm going to move you down here because that's where I'm doing the scanning now. And the transport you can see is now paused. It is out of things to do. So I'm just going to try to spot some metals on the surface. We do know that our start is a little poor on metals, and I think we're suffering for it here. Ah, there's a bunch of metals. Perfect. A couple of packs. So again, we're going to create a transport route. I'm going to select this general area over here. That'll pick up everything. Just there might be some polymers in the area that I didn't spot. I don't know. And then go and do that. But yeah, we might be incentivized to go and expand out to this area fairly quickly. I love that this is a very high grade, so we're going to mine this metal very quickly. There's also another vista for comfort, which is nice. So our dome's nearly done. Solar panels going. Yeah, I'm going to want these oxygen tanks and everything going on too, because, I mean, I have a Moxie over here. We're producing oxygen, and now we're consuming oxygen, but we also want to stockpile a little in case there's an issue. So, milestone, construct a dome, and we built someone. I beat someone to it. We get some extra science out of that too. And yes, we're exploring things as well. Low G drive is going to complete. You know what? I will queue up the drone hubs because we will need to build some, especially if we're expanding over here. We're going to need to change some drone hubs to pull that off. And we are going to want more fuel generation, but not right this second. Oh, we have negative power. Oh, we're still waiting for these solar panels to be built. I can go and toggle off this dome for a moment to save a little bit of power and resources. And there's also some stuff inside I want to construct, but I may as well wait. We do have the concrete for this landing pad. Maybe I'll go and increase the priority on this just to make sure it gets finished, because the material is obviously fine for that. It's just a question of getting our drones
Sector
to
scan.
work. New anomaly. RC Explorer, please and thank you. And then we're scanning over there. So what I'm going to do
Research complete.
is I'm going to cancel these scans. There you go. And do this, because then I can put the seeker right here, sort of in the middle of all this area. All right, research complete on the drone drives. And if we take a look, safe transports. Tracks are easier to repair and trains are safer for passengers. Yes, the trains and monorails and things are in the base game now. No expansion. This remastered is a really good deal. Again, thank you very much to Paradox for sponsoring this video, but you know, I said yes because I absolutely adore this game to an amount that is I can't even describe. I mean, I don't have like Europa Universalis levels of hours in this game, but I still have hundreds of hours in this game. And quite a few Let's Plays on the channel, by the way. And the nice thing is, most of the strategy from like the OG games, like if you watch my earlier Let's Plays, they're absolutely going to apply to Remastered, 100%. It's just that Remastered it's just a better deal now. If you're, if you never picked up the original, there's that much more incentive to go and get it done. Any other anomalies I haven't scanned? No, just got that one on the way, and we are hoping to maybe do the breakthrough. That would be nice. Systemic training, I don't think it's going to happen still, and I think that's still okay. All right. Okay, there we go. Some extra power is there. Of course, we were in a deficit at night regardless, but that's going to be good. All this is set up, and we're about to get some more. We've got some metal. Perfect. Let's go ahead and finish constructing our dome here. We're going to get to the point where we get some people living on here, and that'll wrap up this episode. So we could unlock apartments, right, which have good population density. But these living complexes and quarters are somewhat more comfortable. The living quarters are the little 3 hex, and then living complex is the full square. We're going to go, or the full square, the full triangle. I'm going to go and build one of these. So that'll have room for 14 people. Our shuttles can hold 10, 12. One of those two numbers. Hang on. 12. There you go. So there's going to be enough room for everyone, plus an extra. And yeah, those living complexes, these cute little cottages are fairly comfortable. Now, our colonists are going to have certain needs as well. I don't know if we can get a good preview here. I don't remember. It says, okay, all colonists have a certain number of needs they like, certain activities that they like to entertain themselves. Actually, what I should do is load up the wiki. That's not a bad idea. Surviving Mars colonist. Do I have to look up colonist types? Because depending on their profession, they want different things. Ah, there we go. Okay. So for interests, so people with no specialization are most vanilla people. They have interest for social relaxation and shopping. And then people with specializations will usually have extra stuff on top of that. So for example, Louis here is a scientist, and scientists also want gaming, for example. So my first dome, a lot of times, what I tend to do is I often go and focus on just non-specialized people, just to make sure that they are perfectly comfortable as is. Now, I might want to, though, get botanists thrown in here. And botanists have mostly the same overlap. They also want luxury. I don't know if I can do an early luxury. And then also some of the traits that people can have, like we saw in here, a gambler, for example. So Dean over here is a gambler and would want to do gambling as an activity. And if she couldn't find somewhere to gamble, she would be unhappy. I'd be very unlikely to do this early on. So you've got some filters you can set up over here. So gambler is considered a flaw. I'm going to thumbs down gambler, and Adine. I don't know why these are empty. Let me go and... Oh, fill it. Oh, this works slightly differently than before. Ooh, okay. Oh, I don't hate that at all. So yeah, what I might want to do, like, so what I do sometimes is I thumbs down all specializations and then thumbs up the no specialization, or you can exclamation mark. Exclamation mark basically requires it. Thumbs up just prefers it. And you can see here, the thumbs down is it will reject. So in this case, I might not want to reject everyone, but I might want to encourage the people with no specializations. And let's say I might want to encourage botanists, right? We'll get some Mart Watney types over here because they'll run our farms, which I definitely want to do early on. And that would be kind of swell. And then for perks, I might be like, okay, some things are more important than others. Composed is really good. Enthusiasts, like these are no problem whatsoever. Party animal pros and cons. They gain additional comfort when satisfying social interest. It adds a social interest. So if you were from a type like botanists don't normally want social, that's actually not one of the things they look for, but I'm going to be building a social building anyway because it's really easy. So I'm actually in favor of party animals. Fit is excellent. They want exercise. I'm 100% going to be providing exercise. That's actually by default only needed by officers, but I'm going to be building a park, which will satisfy that. Gamers need gambling. In fact, I might want to thumbs that down. For example, geniuses are great. Hippies are really happy in gardens and parks. I'm going to be adding one, so I'm in favor of that. Nerds get a morale boost when they research things. Cool, let's encourage that. Religious, they have higher morale, and they never do number puzzles. If they're unhappy, they don't do any Sudokus, so we'll go ahead and thumbs that up as well. Rugged, no comfort penalties while eating unprepared food or having no residence, so there's no reason to say no to that, although it's not a priority. Saints are actually quite strong if you do have religious people. Sexy people mean more babies. We love that. We love Survivor. And workaholic. Individual performance increased by 20. No penalty for heavy workloads. And they no longer need relaxation as an interest. There you go. We'll do that. So we're going to encourage. In fact, what we theoretically would do is we'd thumbs up all the perks. We really would prefer people that have perks. But again, I don't want gamer because I'm not going to be able to satisfy their gaming need right now. And with flaws, I might want to just say no to all the flaws. Don't accept anyone with any of these flaws. Some of these may be less problematic than others. And then for quirks, gurus are amazing. Vegans is indifferent. It doesn't matter. Astronomers, ooh, very interesting. Let's thumbs that up in case we get one. All right, we'll fill empty seats. We've got this. We're going to go ahead and launch. We'll get a bit of a complaint. Oh, they're actually sending an engineer here because, oh, he's fit, sexy, workaholic engineer. Yeah. Engineer would like would like dining. So do gluttons. And that's perfect. We're going to have dining available. So we'll get a complaint because, hey, there's no place for residents. No, it's fine. Launch anyway, it's going to be okay. This dome is currently offline, which is one of the reasons there's no room for residents. And, we don't have our building set up either. Anyway, I'll turn this on just to make sure that I've, checked on our power situation to start off with. Low power shortage, yeah. Less than a day, but that's okay. We don't need more than a day worth of power in there. So let's go and keep kitting out this dome. So things we're going to want, we could do a space bar. So this provides relaxation, drinking, social. We shouldn't need anyone who's got drinking. Geologists and alcoholics need drinking. I don't know what that says about geologists, but there you go. It does provide relaxation and social, which our parent people will definitely want. However, the open air gym also provides exercise and social and doesn't need any employees, which is nice. And then we've also got our various parks. So I might want to build a large garden, which you can see here does relaxation, exercise, and playing. Playing is for kids, but that's pretty good. So relaxation and exercise has been dealt with. Social is another base one that we'd like to deal with. But what's nice about social is the diner, which does need employees, but this provides dining, social, food needs, which I like. And then we're also can do a grocer. In fact, we're going to do a small grocer. This satisfied food and shopping. We shouldn't have anyone with a shopping need, but, oh no, that's not true. That is one of the basic ones. And so we're going to put it somewhere in here and leaving room for two full triangles. I often put my little one objects right in the middle. So we'll do that. Those need some employees. We probably also want a small little medical post. And the reason is that the medical post lowers the minimum comfort required for birth, so we can make more babies if we do that. Now, where's our food production? Well, we could do a ranch, which if we do get any vegans, they won't be happy. But we're going to build a regular farm. We could also do a hydroponics farm. If we unlock fungal farm, we could build that outside the dome. But let's go ahead and build a farm over here. So this is probably going to require, this might require more jobs than I've got, but we're going to see.
Stopped working.
Sometimes I like to put two smaller parks in there, and we can always smash these. You get some of the materials back and we build it. So yeah, not enough workers available to run the grocer. That's fine. We're going to get a few of those. But we've got our shuttle that is on the way. Avril the First is there. This shuttle's about ready to leave. We've got excess power during the day. We might want more more power storage just to get rid of the warning that we don't have enough. I think at the diner, I'm going to go and just have one person working each shift here, which I think will decrease the quality, but I think we might need it for counts. So let's see. Because we're going to have 12 workers, right? So, oh, I don't know if I thumbs down seniors and children. I may have wanted to do that because they actually can't work, and that could cause us issues. We will see. So I'm going to need 6 workers here. I'm going to need 2 more here across 2 shifts. So that's 8, 10, 12. Okay, there. Assuming everyone that is coming here can work, then we will have a perfect 1-to-1 ratio of jobs. Ooh, you're open. Additional rewards. What else can we get? Production extractors is increased, but we get more waste rocks. That's not so... No, we can definitely go and eat that up. Oh, free sponsor research. Yeah, let's go and do that. Thank you very much. Should have done that immediately. Love to get the passive research. Of course, we'll be building some research labs inside of our colony in the not too distant future, but let me find there.
Warning. Insufficient resources.
I'm betting if we had 2 days worth of storage for power, we probably wouldn't get the warning. I'm not sure though.
New special project available. New special project available.
New special projects, nice.
Scan.
What I really want still are breakthroughs. What do we reveal here? 3D machining. Okay, those will be really good. We don't need terraforming quite yet. I don't need the tunneling yet. I could do a one-time Mars crowdfunding for some cash, and that wouldn't be too bad. Moxie upgrade is tempting. I don't really need to do the fungal farm. Oh, we get better crops. Okay, that's actually going to be very nice. And I will want the apartments in the not too distant future. So one of the reasons that we do want people to have babies on Mars is, well, it's twofold. First of all, when our first people show up, it's going to start the founder stage. During the founder stage, you cannot order any more passenger rockets. You have to go and survive, I think, 10 souls in the founder stage. Maybe it's 5 souls. I don't know. To be able to call more people. So you can go ahead and take off. The founder stage. So we want the founder stage to end, so you can go and call more people in. And you just get rewarded for progressing forward. The founder stage can end early if you have a Martian born. So first of all, if you get an early baby, it's great. But Martian borns are generally stronger for a variety of reasons. They get more buffs, and they never get homesick, so they never want to leave and go home, which is great. There you go. We get told about the founder stage for 10 souls. We can, with the new voting system, there's an option to skip the founder stage. So you can actually skip it through diplomacy now, or through politics. There you go. Everyone's working. Well, I didn't set a crop. What I like to do is I like to grow soybeans early on, because soybeans will increase soil quality, which is at 50% right now. So I'll let this wheat harvest go through, although it's not going to get much of a harvest because it wasn't working for part of its period. So it is going to be a weak initial harvest, but at least we're a third of the way through already. And then I'll run a bunch of soybean jobs over here to increase the soil quality, because wheat would normally produce more food. You can see optimal harvest would be 17. Well, optimal harvest, I think at this point is 17. It actually should be more than that. Oh, no, it's because it goes quickly. 2 souls versus 5 souls. Yeah. And potatoes are even more food. So 55 every 5 souls, but it lowers soil quality. So we either choose to alternate between potatoes and soybeans later, or we just grow wheat, or we'll unlock some new crops will be even better. We've unlocked the drone hub. And there we go. Rover Command AI. I love this one. Commander type rovers start with 4 additional drones, and their command limit is higher. That's cool. But what I really liked is, because I'm not going to really get any more commanders anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The second one, though, automated mode for RC Explorers and transport type rovers is massive. So I'm actually going to prioritize that. And speaking of, I should probably get my RC transport to go and pick up some more metal. But yeah, one of the things that'll happen when we get the AI mode is it will automatically go and harvest. This really is a metal light location. Oof. We're going to have to go and get the mining set up over there quite early. Oh, there's a bunch over here. Thank goodness. Boom. It's actually a bunch of metal near an underground metal deposit, but it's the surface stuff right now that we care about. There you go. And then haul that back over here. Thank you very much. And oh, we're not scanning anything. Let me go and scan those over there, and then I'll queue up these down here. But then I'll ask my seeker to come in this top area to provide some extra stuff. Power storage complaints. That is okay. All right. Well, we've got our first people living on Mars. We haven't discovered our mystery yet. Oh, did I get...
Anomaly.
Oh, I got a saint. So yeah, the really special people, gurus and saint, get automatically pinned down here. You can go and pin and unpin just about anything. Like I could pin a random building if I wanted there. I have an auction tank pin. It doesn't normally need it. The reason the important people are pinned is you might want to pay extra attention to them, make sure they're okay. I think in this case I can go ahead and unpin you. That's going to be all right. And you're just relaxing in the park, which is just lovely. And yeah, in terms of food, people can get their food from the grocers, or they can go and dine at the diner, which will make them fairly happy. And the health, the comfort is 60 over here. Service building's not working. Oh, someone tried to go to the social building at night, probably, is likely what happened there and wasn't able to satisfy it. But yeah, if we can get their comfort high enough, we might get an early Martian-born. Martian-borns later on, you can get all sorts of different perks that make it so that your Martian-born gain education faster, gain more positive traits as you go forward. It's just a ton. They're just so much stronger. And again, if a Earthborn gets sad, then they want to go home and they'll take the next rocket that goes back home, and then you'll lose your population. And meanwhile, while they're Earth sick, I don't think they work anymore. So they're quite a bad drain on your economy. So that's why getting a Martian-borns is fantastic. Very early on in Surviving Mars, I did my own challenge where I only had a single rocket worth of people shipped out, and we had to do everything based on that. That was later added as one of the game options. Those game rules, those game options you can set up with custom rules didn't exist at release, and eventually that did get added in, including I think they called it's the last arc start, which you just send a single shuttle of colonists, and that's it. You've got to grow everything from there. And it is a really fun way to play. It is extremely fun. It's slower because you can't bring more people from home.
Sectors.
And until you get education set up, all your Martian-borns won't have any specializations.
Milestone.
So they don't do anything particularly good, but but they're fine, and they're easy at least to keep entertained. Ooh, that's on the low ground, so we're not going to be able to get over there. But we should be able to collect that for a science boost, which is nice. Now, what I have to do now is stop playing, which is so hard for me to do, but it's going to happen. Oh, you may be wondering, how do we get from the high ground to the low ground? A couple of different ways. First of all, there is the tech in the recon exploration here. The low G... no, this is to the underground. That is not the one. Do we need a tech for the ramps? Oh, no, we don't need a tech for that. So you can build a tunnel, which goes from point A to point B, and also connects power and the piping through there. So that's one way of doing it. A lot of times I end up just doing the terraforming, where I build a ramp, for example, like that, because that's quite satisfying too. So both of these options absolutely work, and so you can just choose your particular preference. The nice thing about the ramps is they don't take any material, although they do take a lot of time to carve out. And the nice thing about the tunnels is they tend to be a lot faster and don't take up as much space to make it run. On the other hand, they do take some material to build, so there's some pros and cons. So on this map here, we did start on this upper plateau, which actually, I think I'm realizing now, when I was looking at the power, we actually did get a positive number from the wind turbine. Elevation boost 35%. So wind power is going to be viable on this upper area. Now, it still has the machine part as a maintenance. Where does it show it? Yeah, right there. So it takes a half unit of machine parts to maintain from time to time, or even more for the large wind turbine over there. And machine parts are a little bit precious when we start because we don't have the means to produce more. So a lot of times I don't end up wanting the wind turbines to start off with, but they have the advantage of running night and day, as opposed to the solar panels, which are just in the day. But the solar panels only need to be maintained by metal, which normally is super plentiful, but this start is weird. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, thank you very much to Paradox for sponsoring this video. If you check the description box down below, you'll get plenty more information about the game, as well as a link where you can purchase Surviving Mars Remastered, and you too can lose hundreds of hours of your life to this exceedingly fun and surprisingly chill game. I think that's what I like it. It alternates, like the periods of high stress in here are still a sort of relaxed high stress. You're like, oh, I don't have enough food, I gotta work things out. But you know, you can just pause and you can chill and you can think about it and you can just follow the stories of your people. I really like this game so much. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.